Three, two, one.
And now, you're tuned into the Navarro-Miller Report, featuring the hottest in news, entertainment, sports, and all those topics for the mainstream audience. The Navarro-Miller Report.
Examine your reality.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Navarro-Miller Report. I'm your host, Dave Navarro.
I'm Jeremy Miller.
And with us here today, we have actor, author, Emmy Award winner, Jesus criminy, everything in the under the sun. I can't even, I've lost track of the list of things here. I feel, you know what I feel like? We have Mr. Sean Kanan here, but when I introduce you, Sean, it sounds like, I sound like Michael Buffer introducing a fighter. He is the reigning, defending, undisputed, like.
Well, it kind of reminded me of, of Rocky 3 when they're, or Rocky 4 when they're introducing Apollo Creed and his 27 nicknames, and he finally just looks over at Rocky and goes, "We're almost done."
Well, see, that's one of the benefits of writing your own bio. You can,
right?
That's good to see you, brother.
You too, man. It's always good to see you guys. How you been?
Doing real good. We're holding up through all of this.
Yeah. Surviving life as always, man,
Absolutely.
So just trying to make stuff happen for us.
Right.
But yeah, man, I mean, we're so happy to have you back. We've had you on here before. We love having you every single time you come through, man. You're such a joy to have here. And we can get into entertainment news and everything in a second, but I want to go ahead and focus really quick. I saw something on your Instagram recently about Deacon Sharp. Is he making a comeback?
Deacon Sharp has made a comeback. Yeah, I am back on The Bold and the Beautiful. I'm very excited to be there. It's
awesome.
Yeah, that's a character I started playing in 2000. So it's 21 years. It's crazy. And I just started airing a couple weeks ago, and I've been having a blast.
Man, that's really cool, dude. Like, that's really cool to have you back.
Thank you, guys.
Definitely, congratulations. I mean, dude, you've had an incredible year this year. Like
yeah,
it's been a hell of a year. I mean, you also did a movie as well with Bruce Willis. See, there you are, right there with Bruce Willis.
Yeah. I actually did two films with Bruce this year. I did one called the other photo there from Survive the Game, which is out now, and then that was shot in Puerto Rico, and then I got a call from the director for another film that they're doing with Bruce Willis called The Fortress. And it brought me back to do that with him. And what an amazing experience that was. And, back on Bold and Beautiful, I just finished a Lifetime film. And I did something else, but I'm not at liberty to discuss it. So there's lots of good stuff going on.
Gee, trying to get you to say something is always such a pleasure, because jeez.
Listen, you sit down with the legal team with some of these shows. And,
I feel you, brother. Trust me.
You're gonna want to put Scotch tape across your mouth by the time they're done with you. So it's not me being coy. It's a healthy respect and fear of
lawyers. Yes.
Right.
Those damn lawyers.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's so funny because talking with Jeremy all the time. We talk about it from time to time, and we're always like, I was like, man, I'm trying to like see if Sean can maybe share a little bit of something. Is he going to be on Cobra Kai and everything? Is he going to come back and everything?
Uh-huh.
And Jeremy's like, you need to understand something about Sean. He comes from the soap opera world. Trying to get him to actually even give a clue about anything? Right. Good luck.
Am I wrong? You come from that world. You know how the secrets came
nobody
out
likes
of the
Nobody likes to talk about themselves more than I do. I mean, believe me, if I could tell you guys, I would.
Oh, man. But you know what, though? I mean, regardless, I don't know. I guess when it comes to certain things, I actually love surprises. I'm sure your soap opera fans were incredibly surprised when you showed up back on The Bold and the Beautiful. I mean, how has the reaction been for you with returning as Deacon Sharp?
It's been great. You know, this is a character that really has been a fan favorite for a long time. He has done some deplorable things, not the least of which is impregnating his mother-in-law. And so now the majority of my story is about getting out of prison and trying to reconnect with my daughter, who was the progeny of the relationship I had with my then mother-in-law. And so Deacon is now trying to reform his evil ways and be a good guy and a good father to his daughter. And he's got no money, no resources, so he's staying with Sheila Carter, who is one of the resident psychopaths of the show. I mean, if there's one person that you don't want to be hanging out with if you're trying to, go on the straight and narrow, it's Sheila. But because Deacon has literally nowhere to stay, and she has graciously offered to let him stay in her hotel, he's kind of flirting with the devil there.
Wow. So
I like it.
The real question is Deacon actually reformed, or are we going to see possibly maybe he's going to be like, yeah, I'm reformed, but then all of a sudden it's like, like one of those situations.
Here's what I think. I think he genuinely does want to be a better man and have a relationship with his daughter. I think that what's happened is he's done so many deplorable things that very few, basically no one trusts him but his daughter. And so he finds a lot of doors closed off to him. And because of that, he probably will get sucked back into having to, try and find some surreptitious pathways to getting what he wants, because he just probably isn't going to be able to do it in a way that's completely above board.
Wow. It's going to be interesting to watch. I mean, also,
of course it is. I'm in it.
Well,
I was going to say, I am not a soap guy. Maybe that's not obvious or not, but never been a soap guy. But I got to say, you're making me want to watch Bold and the Beautiful.
I think it's fun stuff. It really is.
I think I'll just watch it just to watch your series of it to see exactly how it unfolds, especially to see if your daughter is, if the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
No, she's really good. She's like a really kind, decent.
The opposite of you.
Yeah,
the opposite of your character. The opposite of your character.
So, I'm having a lot of fun doing it, and it's a blessing to be able to get to work with some frequency in this crazy climate that we're all living in right now. I mean, we just narrowly averted an IATSE strike. That was sort of one of the hurdles. And of course, with COVID and everything, there's all sorts of challenges. So I just consider myself very lucky and blessed, and I'm very humbled to be able to have this job.
Dude, man, again, really happy for you, man, for your success right now. But I also have to ask, involving your show Studio City, I mean, you did kind of poke fun at the soap opera world a little bit. I mean, are you getting any flack from that?
No, people love it. They really do. And maybe poke just a little bit of fun, but really, I want to show what it was like being a guy that stars on a soap opera, that he's got all sorts of flaws and insecurities and problems and things that he's just a guy trying to figure it out. I mean, when you first see my character, Sam Stevens, you might kind of think he's a little bit of a douche, and you realize very quickly he's just like another moron like the rest of us, just trying to figure it out, and has family issues and work issues and struggles like everybody else, and it really humanizes the guy. And then you start rooting for him, and he works on the #2 soap opera in the world, and he's very proud of the fact that he was the Soap Opera Digest runner-up for best. He's always kind of that guy. He's good, but he's kind of not. And we're in the process right now of putting together shooting season 2, and that's got all sorts of challenges from a production standpoint, but we are determined to get it done. And I think season 2 is going to be bigger and better, and we'll continue to reveal lots of fun characteristics about these characters that the audience sort of really fell for in the first season and now wants to continue down the path with them.
Well, I can tell you that's exactly what I'm looking forward to.
Oh, thanks, brother.
No, really. I mean, I told you, I absolutely loved the first season. I loved what you guys did with it. The performances, as I told you, were amazing. You actually had me, tearing up at times and stuff. Yeah. So I connected with those characters, and I'm looking forward to seeing where they're going, where that arc takes them.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're just trying to juggle it with my schedule right now on Bold the Beautiful and a few other things, but everyone is extremely committed to it, and it's going to get done. I mean, we have bootstrapped this thing, and it's been a labor of love for everybody involved. And if we have to grab a camera and do this in my living room, we're going to do it. But we're going to bring everybody season 2.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I mean, and just so you know, we have a couple of people are tuning in right now. Joe Andrew is saying, me and my boys are huge Cobra Kai fans. We need some Mike Barnes in Cobra Kai. I mean, the question still remains, and here we go, pulling teeth here.
Yeah.
I mean, we go back to the same question. I mean,
right.
They're going into their third season, and they have
they're
filming, fourth season.
No, they're filming the 5th season right now.
Has already 5 seasons.
Season 4 is going to drop December 31st.
That's right.
I'm not sure when season 5 will be released. I think that's probably a decision Netflix is deciding now. But it's like I always say, keep the faith. The creators of the show are huge fans of all things that are part of the original canon, the original Karate Kid universe, and they really want to work everybody into the show that they can, but do it in a way that's organic, as opposed to not just organic, but where the characters actually have something to do, rather than just be kind of like stunt casting, like, hey, remember so and so from the film? Well, he's in this episode. And so that's what I really love about these guys. And all I can say is keep the faith and keep watching.
We're rooting for it, man. I mean, as a fan of the films,
I know
everybody's rooting for it. It's a character everybody loved to hate.
And, right?
Everybody wants to see where he is now. So definitely keeping the faith, brother.
I want to see Mike Barnes with the puka shells. I really want to see that.
I
really want to see that.
The Birkenstock sandals. And
well, now it would be the Croc sandals, I think.
Yeah.
They'd be Crocs. It'd be very interesting to see all that. Again, we'll see what happens. And like I said, this season 4 coming up, they're bringing back Mike Barnes' old sensei, and also
Terry Silver.
Terry Silver's making that comeback, man, and he looks evil as he did before. A little grayer, but still evil. Yeah. So, it should be a very interesting season. I can't wait. I'm hoping, this is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that by the time the end of season 4, final episode or whatever, we all of a sudden we see the silhouette of Mike Barnes in the shadows, just lurking.
All I can tell you this is whatever you think is going to happen, you can leave it up to the creators of the show to probably come up with something that's not at all what they're really good at throwing effective curveballs to the audience, and I think that's one of the reasons that like with Chosen, coming back and now really is an ally of Daniel. I mean, who would have seen that coming?
Yeah.
And I think that's what keeps the whole thing fresh and interesting and compelling. That and the fact that they really incorporate some great humor. For me, as a guy that's a fan of the show, I love the anachronistic quality that Johnny has, where he really is still this, child of the 80s, everything from the music to the car he drives to everything. And, I'm going to be 55 next month. And I mean, for me, the 80s were one of the greatest decades there was. And so I totally get his character, because I think everybody always thinks the best music was from when they were in high school, wherever you might fall age-wise. and that was the best time. And I kind of understand the guy. And so I think that's one of the reasons as a fan, I really am drawn to the show and to Johnny.
That's very true. That's very true. And like you said, they do love to throw curveballs, because who would have thought Johnny and, Daniel were going to be allies? I mean, that was actually, I think when they saw that at the end, we all cheered for that.
Yeah.
We were like, finally, these two decided to bury the hatchet, grow up, and be adults already, and actually go against an evil person. So that's really cool. Can't wait for season 4. But as far as you're concerned, man, talk about, like I said before, talk about an incredible year. Emmy Award winner. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
I mean, were you expecting it, or did it catch you completely off guard?
I don't think you can ever expect it. The night of the Emmys, I was actually teaching a martial arts seminar in my hometown, and it was a benefit for my sensei who passed away, and ironically, Uji Okamoto, who played Chosen, came in for it. So that was kind of surreal. Like, Chosen's in my little hometown of Pennsylvania. That was bizarre, but it was great to see him. And I knew that they were going to make the announcement for the Emmys the same time that I was doing the seminar, and I specifically didn't bring my phone with me, because I knew that I was either going to be really disappointed or I was going to be completely elated. And either way, these people had come to do this seminar. They didn't come to, see me reacting to the Emmys. So as the seminar ended, my father came in, and he just sort of looked at me, and I looked at him, and I walked close to him, and he just sort of whispered, he goes, "You won." And I got really quiet. I just kind of walked off into a corner by myself for a minute and just sort of took it all in. And I've been doing daytime since 1992. I've never won an Emmy. And it just kind of took me a second or two to absorb it. And, it was also really special because my wife, Michelle, she's an executive producer and one of the head writers in the show as well. And we won together. So that was really special. My Emmy sits about half an inch higher than hers does. No, I'm kidding. I gotta be honest. From a purely selfish point of view, I was nominated for Outstanding Lead Actor, and I was really hoping that I could have pulled that second one in, so I would have been able to bookend hers. But I suppose for marital bliss and domestic tranquility, it's best that we just have, we have one equally next to the other, which is really kind of metaphoric for our relationship.
That's awesome, man.
That's awesome, Sean. I mean, I'm so happy for that.
Thanks,
and the thing is, in the midst of all this, you even wrote a book.
I did.
Way of the Cobra.
Just so happened to have it right here.
Well, there you go. Look at that. What a coincidence.
Way of the Cobra, yeah.
I mean, tell us a little bit about what Way of the Cobra is all about, and sure. How did you come up with this concept?
So Way of the Cobra is my third book. My last book, which was Success Factor X, wound up being an Amazon New Release bestseller. This is a book I'd been working on for quite a while, but it was in a different incarnation. And, when you write a book, that's like part one. It's like making a movie. Then you got to get it distributed, and then you got to get people to watch it. And it's the same with a book. You got to get people to read it. And so I was thinking, okay, I can do this book by this previous title I was going to use, and probably 10 people are going to read it, most of whom are my family. And I said, or I can kind of piggyback on this juggernaut that is, the mania for all things Cobra Kai and Karate Kid. And so what I did was I basically took most of the same information and retooled it. And so the book is structured that you are a student in my dojo. I'm the sensei. The Way of the Cobra. Cobra is an acronym formed from the words character, optimization, balance, respect, and abundance. And these are the strategies and philosophy that I've used in my life to achieve some of the things that I've achieved. It's divided up into belt rankings, starting with white belt, going to black belt. I use a lot of autobiographical stories to illustrate some of the lessons and things that I espouse in the book. And, I always say this. I say, before you think I'm, levitating above the ground on top of a mountain in Kathmandu, contemplating my navel. Know that I wrote this book because I've made every mistake in it 10 times over. And I wanted to pass along some of the, the lessons that I've learned, being in the trenches in Hollywood for 30 plus years and bringing in my martial arts background. And, I hear from people literally every day from around the world that they are affecting paradigm shifts in their life based on the information in the book. And I really put my heart and soul into it. And I am trying to get it into as many people's hands as possible. If you'd like to get it, you can get it at wayofthecobra.com. And just, I'll close with this. The reason I know this works, about 5 years ago, I found myself in an interesting place, and I think you guys can probably relate. I had some pretty good success. I'd had some, epic failures, some of which were pretty well publicized. And I was looking in the mirror thinking, okay, what's next? What is the next chapter going to be as I'm approaching, I'm 50 years old. And I didn't have any prospects for acting work. Things had ground to a complete halt for me. I was, dealing with some old demons that had reared their heads. And I realized very quickly I needed to start doing some things very differently, very quickly. And so I decided that the first thing was, rather than wait for my ship to come in, I was going to build the damn ship. I just had to figure out how to do it. And so I started doing a couple of things very differently. And I started having some incredible results very quickly. And it snowballed from there. And writing the book, I'm convinced, actually sitting down and finishing it has had a tremendous amount to do with all of the stuff that has happened for me this year.
That's incredible, man. That's really that's inspiring right there.
Thank you.
And you did this during COVID, right? During the pandemic, you were writing the book.
Yeah.
So in the midst of all the darkness that was surrounding the world at the time, you found a way of turning something that was so negative and creating something so positive that people needed to have at the time right now, actually.
It's a really good point that you made, that this is a book that I really feel that is timely, because so many people have literally just had the shit kicked out of them from COVID. They have had their lives turned upside down. A lot of people are now reintegrating back into socializing, into the work life. And, they need something that's going to give them kind of a psychic kick in the ass. And this book definitely does that. One of the things that I had said to myself when all this pandemic craziness started, I made the conscious decision that I wasn't just going to survive, but I was going to thrive. I was going to find a way that this was going to be my best year ever. And I suppose that's pretty arrogant, coming from where I was at the beginning of it. And I just kept doing the next right thing. And I mean, Jeremy, I just kept, and what's funny is, like, for a couple years, I had been trying to do the next right thing. It was interspersed with, me struggling through some stuff, but I just wasn't getting the tangible results that I wanted. And then all of a sudden in 2021, it all just kind of, there was the skies opened up and there was a deluge of great stuff. And the reason I say that is that I think a lot of times people get really frustrated. They say to themselves, I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing everything I should be doing, and I'm not getting, the universe isn't rewarding me for it. And I would say two things to that. I would say the first is that we don't do right things so the universe rewards us. That's the first thing. We do right things because they're the right things to do. That's the first thing. The second thing is that, at least in my experience, you can do the right thing for a while and not necessarily see the tangible benefits of it, and then it builds to critical mass, and then it explodes. And so for those people that are frustrated and that are like, you know what, screw it. I'm giving up on that app that I've been designing for 2 years, or that book that I'm writing, or that diet I'm following, or whatever. You know what? Stick it out for one more day. Just stick it out for one more day, because you never know. It sounds cliche and maybe even, a little bit naive, but you never know when that day is going to come when everything changes. And sometimes things change on a dime in instance, and other times, they change more slowly. But I'm convinced that if you keep doing the right thing, you keep grinding, working hard, acting with integrity, being a compassionate, loving, kind human being, that the wheel spins your way sooner or later.
Oh, I'm scared.
I agree. Well, yeah, you're just an evil person. So
yeah, I'm just a horrible person.
I've always believed that completely, brother. You know that. I've always compared it to poker strategy, because the best poker players in the world do not play results-based poker.
Absolutely.
You make the right decisions and the right choices over and over and over and over time.
Yes.
And those right decisions pay off eventually.
Absolutely.
The bad players sit there and fold when they're supposed to, and then see that, oh, well, that hand I should have, I folded. Well, that would have won me, a couple $100,000. Well, yeah, because you would have gotten lucky. The right decision is still the right decision.
I agree.
And if you follow that, and the longer you follow it, the better it pays off in the end.
Right. I completely agree with that.
And to be honest, I mean, hearing this is actually it's fortuitous, because as Jeremy knows, I had a rough night on Saturday. I was pretty much, at my wit's end. He knows about a lot of stuff that I kind of vented to him, and listening to everything you just said.
He's
about
a crybaby.
I'm a crybaby. I am. I can't help myself. But listening to what you said, just stick it out for one more day. Just one more day. That can actually keep anybody going. I mean, I would imagine that's. I mean, not to put a dark twist on it, but that's how inmates mainly feel when they're in prison. And they're about to be released. Just one more day. Just one more day. Come on.
One of the things that I find is a really great strategy when you find yourself in that kind of mental space is, go get out of your head and be of service. Do something for someone else. I am a firm believer that, by doing estimable acts, we build self-esteem. And one of the, listen, we're human beings, which means that we are largely ego-driven beings. And when you can detach yourself from your ego and get out of your own head and do something selflessly for somebody else, it's amazing how the mental swirl between your ears dissipates and the clouds part, and you start to see more clearly, and that allows you to re-engage into the battle.
Absolutely, brother.
Very true, man. And in talking about this, Jeremy, you had actually a topic regarding Britney Spears that Sean can actually can. Well, you said that Sean can actually relate to something like this.
Well, coming from the soap opera world.
Oh, I think he froze.
Yeah, Jeremy froze.
Oh, right when he was about to get to the good stuff. There he is.
You froze up there, buddy.
And he's still, the soap opera world.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. We're good.
You guys had a lot of unreasonable expectations put upon you. I mean, the fans, in a lot of ways, believe your characters. I mean, there's a lot of stories that go with people not being able to differentiate between you and your characters, things like that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we all know what kind of life this poor girl has had to lead. We've all seen child stars taken advantage of by family, all this kind of stuff. Well, there was an article that she put out, a kind of an interview where she basically just talked about how even now that she's free, she's living every moment terrified because she's afraid of taking
the wrong thing.
Exactly. Just taking one step out of line, and she's, she feels like she's going to lose all this freedom she just finally gained. And how we ruin children in this business. I mean, it's just such a horrible. I just don't think anybody's talking about the after effects of it.
I hope so. I hope she gives herself the permission to make some mistakes. I mean, I'm not talking about substance-driven mistakes or mistakes that are, being an abject shit show because of behavior, but she's going to make mistakes because you have to believe, and I don't know her personally, but it would seem to me that on some levels, her growth has been stunted at a very early age. And, while on the one hand, she's a multi-award winning, multi-millionaire entertainer, having a residency at Vegas at one point, she's also in a lot of ways somebody who is a little girl who has, been oddly infantilized and parentified at the same time, which are two opposite ends of the spectrum. She's had to be the parent in some respects, and she's been, probably doesn't know how to, balance a checkbook in another. And she's got to give herself the permission to make some mistakes, because if not, it's going to start seeping into her art. And whenever you're afraid to make mistakes as an artist, you cease to become interesting. You become derivative, and you become, cliche and predictable, and that's death. So, I hope she figures that out and has some good people around her.
Same here, man.
I couldn't. I'm listening to the words of wisdom from two people that actually came from the industry that, like, pretty much it's a terrible industry, really. You always have to be walking on eggshells.
It's tough. Jeremy had it a lot harder than I did, though. I wasn't really a child actor. I came out when I was, probably about 19 years old. And I certainly made tons of mistakes and whatever, but I was still, relatively an adult. Emancipated in the sense that I wasn't living under my parents' roof who were controlling me, etc. And, Jeremy was a child actor. And that's rough. Being a little kid, bringing in the paycheck, and that goes with all sorts of stuff goes with that you certainly know better than I, Jeremy.
Oh yeah, it's definitely, it's, pardon my French, but it's a mind fuck. It is.
Yeah,
it definitely messes with you when you're young, that responsibility. But again, I didn't have it anywhere near as bad as a lot of people did.
Right.
I've always said my experience was probably as good as you can get in the business.
Right.
And I see something like this, and it just tears my heart out. It really does, because we all had friends. We all knew younger people who were taken advantage of by family, who had their lives destroyed. You and I both, I'm sure, can count on more fingers than we want the people we've lost in this business to exactly that kind of thing. So
absolutely.
I really, like you said, I hope she's got some good people around her. And that was an incredible point, really, Sean. Giving herself permission to fail, and to be human is probably one of the biggest steps she could take right now.
Yeah. I talk about it in the book. A guy that fails 7 out of 10 times in baseball winds up in Cooperstown and gets $20 million a year. It's okay. And people are very forgiving as long as those failures don't come from a place of malice or, ego and self-importance. If it comes from a place of, I don't have a lot of life experience in this area and there's going to be a learning curve, I find that people are generally, they're forgiving. It's when you sort of take this, holier than thou position, and then it's that you're setting yourself up for a fall from grace, and people are pretty slow to want to pick you up.
That's crazy. Like that world, I can't even imagine how that world is like. Everybody always sees that world as, oh, it's fame, it's fortune, but there's just so much deeper that goes into that world of entertainment, and it's just such a deeper hole that many people don't know about, that they don't understand, that some don't get out of alive. Like it's and that's in a literal sense too. Yeah. Some of them don't get out of it alive, and it's an unfortunate thing. But
again, is one thing we've talked about is it's changed. When I was doing it, the game was different. and everybody wasn't running around with a camera in their pocket and a video recorder in their pocket to see everything you do. I mean, these kids have, and not only that, they have to have a social media presence. They have to be out here showing everything they do in their life. And that would have driven me insane as a kid. I honestly don't think I could have done that as a kid.
Yeah, I know I keep harkening back to my book, but this month is Bullying Awareness Month, and so I'm doing some work on behalf of that. And one of the things that I say in the book, and that I'm also trying to impress upon kids, is that if you look to other people's outward representations of their success and compare it to your own, you are going to be incredibly insecure. And the reality is that success is not the bloated Instagram feed parading conspicuous consumption of celebrities. Working in Hollywood, that so much of that's crap and manufactured anyway, Jeremy. I made a video the other day, and I was talking about discipline, and I was like, everybody struggles with discipline. I said one of the greatest things to do is to remove temptation. And I said I should have taken my own advice. I said, because at 3:00 in the morning, I was in a hotel and I visited my mini bar, and I said I wasn't drinking, but I said, I beat the shit out of a bag of chocolate covered almonds. And I said, I should have just taken him out of there. And I said, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of advice. If you're trying, say, for instance, you're struggling with eating, stop watching TV. I said, advertisements are, engineered to elicit a Pavlovian response from you, so that when you see certain things and you're not hungry, you suddenly get hungry. And I said, here's a little inside information from a guy in Hollywood. I said, beautiful supermodels twerking on sports cars do not eat triple bacon cheeseburgers. I said, ripped up dudes on the beach don't drink a case of Budweiser every weekend while they're playing football. I said, use common sense and don't believe everything that you're seeing. And that also goes for young girls seeing, some other girl in their grade posting stuff where she's got 19 filters on, and she looks like she just walked off the catwalk in Milan. Yeah. My uncle had this great saying, and it's in the book. He said, things aren't always what they seem. Skim milk masquerades as cream.
That's a good one. That's actually a really good quote right there. Yeah, I like that. That's actually a good one. I would
drop a mic if I had it right now. I don't have it, but I would drop one.
I'd be like, yes.
Good, Dave. They make great Christmas gifts. Buy the book already. God's sake.
Hey, done right there. There's the plug right there. Well,
I'll give it a little plug real quick. Sean, I don't want to blow any more smoke up your butt, buddy. But seriously,
I usually have to pay for that,
go out and check out this book. Seriously, Sean is one of the most dedicated, single-minded, focused guys I've ever met. And if you want to have a little bit of that in your life, this is probably the book you need to read. I'm being dead serious.
I appreciate that, Jeremy. I really do. I really do.
We'll definitely, we'll post the link to where they could go ahead and find your book on here. But most importantly, Sean, I know you got stuff to do. You're very busy, man. So I'm not going to take too much more. We're not going to take too much more of your time here. So where can people stalk you on social media?
You can stalk me on social media at Sean.Kanan on Instagram, at Sean Kanan on Twitter. And tomorrow, I will be on The Talk, which is, sorry about that. I'll be on The Talk, which I believe is 1 p.m. right after The Bold and the Beautiful on CBS Pacific time. And please check that out. And please check out the book. And I love when people reach out to me on social and talk to me about the book and have questions and everything. And I really do my best to try and communicate and respond to them. So I'm here.
Thanks so much, Sean.
All right, guys.
We'll definitely
I love
have
both you guys, and
love you, brother.
Who knows? Maybe I'll have something really fun to share with you down the road.
Oh,
right?
you're
Sounds
coming
good.
back. I mean, you're coming back.
You know
like
we're
a
going to
regular
be
here.
trying to get info.
I mean, all the time. That's just inevitable here. Maybe next time we could talk a little bit about murder mysteries. You know, the Zodiac killer. They just
Oh yeah.
So,
Sure.
you know how much you love to talk about.
I love that stuff, man. Absolutely. Anything you want. All right, guys. Listen, take care and all the best, and we'll be in touch. Okay.
Likewise,
Sounds
Sean. We'll
great.
talk soon, man.
Bye-bye.
Later. That was Sean Kanan, man. I love having him on here every single time. It never gets old having him on here. I mean,
always a ball to talk to, and a knowledgeable guy who, trust me, you guys are going to want to check out that book. And like you said, he's got some nuggets of wisdom that will really help you out.
Very intelligent. He's a very intelligent.
He is, and he's a great guy
someone.
too. I mean, that's
amazing.
Absolutely adore that guy. So glad he was on again.
Amazing person. We'll definitely have to have him back on again very soon. Jessica is also saying, thank you for using your platforms in a positive way. Joe says thank you, Sean, and Jessica also says thank you, Sean, as well. A lot of people on here really enjoyed watching Sean on the Navarro-Miller report. And man, I gotta tell you, again, it's always, every time he comes on here, he always has so much wisdom to share. And I really appreciate that off of Sean. I mean, it's so contradictory to his character Mike Barnes, obviously.
Sean's a guy who's been through a lot. He's seen a lot, and unlike a lot of people, he has a lot of self-reflection and introspection. So he's learned from all of those experiences, and he knows how to articulate it, talk about it, and really be honest about where he's been. So he's a very inspiring guy to talk to, and as you said, very knowledgeable and inspiring.
Yep, definitely gonna have to have him back on here again very soon. In other news today, we had a very unfortunate loss today. We lost former General Colin Powell. Also, he was a former Secretary of State. He died, unfortunately, of COVID complications at the age of 84 today. Apparently, he was battling cancer. It was myeloma, I believe it's called, and it attacks the plasma cells of the body, which pretty much are it controls the immune system. So he was definitely immunocompromised. He was definitely fully vaccinated, but unfortunately, in his state, battling cancer, COVID took him, unfortunately. And I mean, I know that there's going to be a lot of anti-vaxxers are going to say, oh, well, he was fully vaccinated and he still died. People, you got to understand one thing. Just because you have the vaccine doesn't mean you're immortal. If you are immunocompromised, if you have cancer, if you have something in your system that is killing your immunity, then no amount of a vaccine is gonna save your life from something like COVID right now. I mean, the best thing that you could do is have people around you. I mean, I don't know how Mr. Powell got got COVID, but somebody around him probably that, and I hate to assume, but that's the only way you could get it is from somebody around you that wasn't vaccinated.
You have to figure a 84-year-old man wasn't out partying a lot during his cancer treatments. So I mean, you have to assume he was at home, mostly around family or doctors or otherwise. So there wouldn't be a large selection of places you would assume he was going at that point. Before I get into the political aspects of this, the COVID part of it, let's acknowledge the fact of what Colin Powell was. He was a man that was very well respected on both sides of the aisle, that he was very respected by all of his colleagues. He was a stand-up guy. He's not a man we ever heard about with any huge scandals or anything. This was a very respected man across the board. And no matter how you feel about, the war in Iraq and Afghanistan and everything else, or how we got led there, he was someone who stood up for what he believed in. He was honest from everything we've seen. He was scandal-free and, again, respected by those who worked with him and against him at different times. So that's a pretty incredible man to have achieved all the things that he did. So much respect, and it is a big loss to a lot of people.
Exactly. I mean, he was the first African American Secretary of State. So I mean, he accomplished so much. He achieved historic, his historical achievements. I mean, he did so much for this country. He loved this country. I mean, the man just gave his entire life for this country. So
he absolutely did. I have nothing but respect for him along those lines. Now let's get on to the rest of it. Yes, the anti-vaxxers have already started up within an hour or two of the news, being released that Colin had passed away from COVID complications. They were already all over the message boards and all over Twitter talking about how, this shows how useless the vaccine is and everything else. The man was 84 years old and battling cancer. Okay. Everything in his body was not working. Everything was at its most vulnerable. It's, people they want to lump everything into, if it doesn't, if there's any exception, well, then it couldn't possibly work. No, it does work. But as you said, it doesn't make you invincible. It's a fact. If you're already immunocompromised, if you're already much older and your body is very susceptible to a lot of things, the vaccine will help you, but it is not a guarantee that your body still won't fail under those stressed conditions.
That's like saying, a person got shot and killed in the head and they were fully vaxxed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on, you're still going to die from a bullet to the brain. I mean, the vaccine's not going to stop that. So, I mean, it's not going to make you Superman, no matter how many, conspiracy theories say that we turn into metallic things. I mean, it's not going to turn you.
I'm still waiting for my superpower. I've had my two. Do I have to get the booster to get my superpower? What is it?
I'm telling you, man, my cousin, he's just like, oh yeah, we can now control you with the government now. We could actually, you have the GPS already installed in you. You're good.
Well,
you're low jacked.
That's what my buddy told me as well. I told him, no, don't worry about it. I rubbed the magnet over it beforehand, so I was all good.
Oh my God. We got a couple of people that are actually talking on the stream right now. Joe, this question actually is to me. Yay, I got a question. He says, Dave, who are you? When I first saw this podcast, I thought you were in Jane's Addiction, LOL. No, that's the other Dave Navarro. We both have the same first and last name. I've been doing podcasting. A little bit about me. I've been doing podcasting since 2010. I have my degree in journalism and mass communication, so I am a legitimate journalist. Like, I could actually say I'm a legitimate journalist. That's actually what I went to school for. Graduated with honors. Thank you very much, magna cum laude right here. And so I've been doing podcasting. I've been doing broadcasting. This is my niche right here. And if you don't like it, well, I don't care. So there's the door. But anyways, it's also, we have Derek that says, boy, it's really hard to balance watching you guys Monday Night Football and NCIS. Pick one, Derek. Hey, pick one.
No, I'm good with it. Balance it. That's pretty good company to be in. I'm good with that.
Seriously, he's like probably like, going through like switching channels like, oh my God, I can't. What's going on here? So, but anyways, that's a little bit about on the stream here. In other entertainment news, man, I love this movie when it came out. Mel Brooks' History of the World was an incredible movie. Laughed my ass off every time I saw it. Looks like they're doing a History of the World 2 series that is set for Hulu. Hulu just ordered this. And this includes, Mel Brooks is coming back as executive producer, obviously, of the series, but also there's a lot of other people that are involved in this right now. On Variety.com, it says, History of the World Part 2 is described as a sequel to the 1981 film. Brooks is a writer and executive producer on the series, along with Nick Kroll, Wanda Sykes, Ike Barinholtz, David Stassen, and Kevin Salter. So that's a pretty big array of incredible, funny people that are involved in this project. There is no set date as to when it will premiere, but I can guarantee you this: it's going to be freaking hilarious. Mel Brooks, he's like close to 100 at this point, and he's still doing it. God bless him for that.
I cannot wait to see this. One of my favorite comedies of all time. It ranks just behind Blazing Saddles as one of my favorite comedies ever. there's been rumors for many years. I think this is probably, I don't know what iteration of concepts it is for History of the World 2, because there have been rumors about a History of the World 2 for 20 years.
Yep. Also Spaceballs.
About it's possibly in production, or they're talking about this, or someone's put forward a new script, or so I mean, they've been teasing us for so long. I'm dying to see what they do with it. I'm not
and this
sure.
isn't even a movie.
No, it's going to be a show, which is great. I love the idea of this being an ongoing type thing, but I am very curious in today's PC world, especially for the networks, how exactly they're going to work this out. Because Mel Brooks at his best was always pushing boundaries. And, as we all know, Blazing Saddles is one of the funniest, as well as probably one of the most offensive films in the world, if you look at it from that PC perspective.
We were just talking about this last week.
We were just talking about it last week. If you don't know the background, if you don't know that Richard Pryor helped write it, if you don't know all the things that went into it, but I'm not sure how far they can push things now. I mean, unless it was something they were releasing fully independent, how far can they really go without getting some smackdown on them?
Oh man, it's going to be so difficult. I mean, they're going to be like having to walk on eggshells, like you said, in this new PC era. Oh man, it's not going to be easy for them. But I'm like you, I'm anxious to see.
Oh yeah, I'm dying to see what they do with it, what path they take with it.
It's definitely going to be something that I'm going to be interested in. I'm going to be hooked. I mean, it's Mel Brooks. You can't go wrong with Mel Brooks, for God's sake. Come on. In other entertainment news, DC fandom has some major hits set for 2022-23. My God, they came in hard. They saw what Marvel put out, and they're like, we're not going down without a fight. You guys are going to have to, smack us as hard as you can, but that's not happening. You have, they showed Black Adam, which is incredible. That oh my God, it looks so awesome. They have The Flash. They showed like a little teaser of The Flash, which Michael Keaton reprises his role as Batman. You, Jeremy, you went to the premiere of Batman when you were a kid. I mean, the little boy inside of you must be screaming, wanting to see this now.
Is dying to see it. I mean, I was already interested, of course, but the fact that Michael is reprising his role, I absolutely am dying to see it. I'm dying to. And that'll lead us into something we're going to talk about in a few about the new Batman as well. But it really is something that anybody who was a fan of the original Batman, I'm not taking anything away from the Christian Bale Batmans or anything else. But man, that Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson Batman had just the right mix of action and dark, but still kept some of that comic book fun as well. And for somebody who was 12 years old, 12 and a half when it came out, man, it was one of my favorite films of that year. And I'm geeking out to see Michael come back as the Batman.
Oh, it's going to be insane. I mean, they haven't set a date of the release. They just, at the end of the trailer, says in production. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me right now. Give me a date.
They're not going to give you, no way. They're not giving you.
Oh man, it's tough. And
it's like we talked about. I mean, I'm really hoping that DC has started to find their groove. I mean, we all know as fans of this genre, their first offerings with Justice League and with others, so we're a little rough, to be kind. But it seems like they're getting, they're really starting to find their style,
their niche,
and their niche of how they want to tell these stories. And again, they seem to be doing it and finding their groove at a time where Marvel's most vulnerable, where they're changing characters, where we don't have the same connection to their lead characters that we had, that was built up over 20 plus years.
Correct.
now, of these Marvel films. I like what DC is doing. I like the direction they're going, and I really hope they keep it up.
And going to, speaking of the Batman, they actually released another trailer of the Batman with what's his face?
Robert Pattinson.
That guy.
What's his face?
I can't. Okay, I can't for the life.
Whoa.
Whoa, that was
Sorry
weird.
there, guys. Are we still live?
Yeah, we're still live. That was
A little
weird.
technical glitch there.
That was really weird. Anyways, so yeah, it's one of those things where I'm just like, I'm really, really hoping that Robert Pattinson on there, that was just something that, you know, that I just can't wrap my head around him being the Batman. He's too small. He's too skinny. I can't see it. I mean, it's almost like Batman the teenage years, you know, like that's how I look at it, you know? And then I heard him talking. I'm just like, nah. I mean, but Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle, aka Catwoman, I can get on board with that one. She looks gorgeous. She looks really sexy.
Of course you can.
Well, yeah, you know.
I've got a little different take on this. First of all, I know because of the genre and how big it was, people hear Robert Pattinson and all they think of is Twilight. You know, I mean, it's kind of ingrained in people's heads. What a lot of people don't realize is Robert has actually done a couple of really solid turns in some independent films since then. I wish I could remember the name of, I've seen at least 2 or 3 where he put in one hell of a performance in a couple of smaller indies where he really got to kind of choose some grittier material. So for his performance, I have no doubt he can deliver on that. I'm withholding judgment simply because, as I talked about, I can't picture him in the role either. You know, I think a lot of people are having that problem. I can't picture him as Batman. A lot of people felt the same way about Michael Keaton when he was chosen. There was a huge backlash against Michael Keaton being chosen as the Batman. And it worked. I mean, people thought there's no way that Michael Keaton can pull this off, that he can be commanding enough or intimidating enough or whatever it was. And they called him too small and they called him all this different stuff. And look what happened. It worked. So I'm reserving judgment until I see it, just simply for that reason, because I was of that mindset too. I didn't see how, I mean, I loved Michael Keaton, thought he was brilliant, but I didn't see him. How is Beetlejuice going to be Batman?
Yeah.
I mean, that was, you know, in my head, I just could not fathom it. So I'm giving Robert the benefit of the doubt until I see it. I'm completely reserving judgment because you never know.
Robert, you get Jeremy's approval, you don't get mine. I'm sorry, I can't. I saw some of the trailer for it, and I saw his whole emo character, and he's like, I don't know what to do, and blah, blah, blah. It almost felt like a Brute commercial. It was weird. I just was like, I can't do this. I can't watch this. Like,
we'll see.
Really? No, I can't. No, I can't do it. Can't do it. But, you know, it will be interesting to see. I mean, the Batmobile doesn't even look like the Batmobile. It looks like a freaking... I mean, here's Bruce Wayne, one of the richest men in the world. I saw the Batmobile. It looks like he just souped up a freaking GT Charger. It looks horrible. It doesn't even look like... No, I can't. Just like you with the Joker, with Joaquin Phoenix as Joker, you refused. I can't. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to watch this. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to watch this.
It had nothing to do with Joaquin. I told you that. It wasn't
I know
a
that.
performance.
I know it wasn't that. It was because of the story. But what I'm saying is that I'm kind of like where you were at with that. This is where I'm at with this. I can't do it. It's just I don't know. I'll probably end up watching it eventually because you know it's my job. But. Cindy just said Dave Navarro could be the Batman. Which one? Me or the guitarist? Anyways,
another 10 years will make you the old beaten up retired Batman.
Thanks a lot, man. With the whole freaking like Walker, like I'm Batman there. I'll get away from me. You know, but anyways, but in talking about how DC came out with all these like crazy, I mean, Aquaman's coming out as well. That's another one, another trailer that they came out with. That one comes out next year. There's just so many that it looks like Disney, because Disney's with Marvel, Disney decided to shuffle a couple of the things right now on their release dates, because I'm sure that they saw after DC fandom, they were like, okay, we got to rearrange a couple things here and there, you know? So they decided to, this is from Variety.com again. It says, Disney has delayed release plans for several upcoming films, including Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness from March 25th to May 6th. Thor, Love and Thunder from May 6th to July 8th. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. I actually am looking forward to that one. From July 8th to November 11th. With Black Panther's sequel jumping to November, The Marvels, quote, The Marvels, that's another movie, has been postponed to early 2023, and Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania was bumped from February 17th to July 28th, 2023. Now, coincidence? I don't know, because this just so happened the day after DC Fandom. I mean, I don't know if that's such a coincidence. And they also went ahead and Indiana Jones is another one too. Indiana Jones 5, yes, 5. Pretty soon we're gonna be
God,
like,
just let it be better than Crystal Skull, please.
well, here's
Please.
the thing. I so want to be like in Spaceballs, where he's like, we're gonna be like Indiana Jones 5,000. We're getting to that point. But yeah, that one actually, they've actually, that installment, it's been back nearly a year. So they're shuffling a lot. There's got to be a reason why. I'm thinking it has a lot to do with DC. They want to kind of see what happens with that. But I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, they may be just trying to give themselves a little more time to build some more momentum. The new movies from Marvel, I'm not saying them in particular have a different feel, but the momentum around them, the excitement that they're generating definitely feels different.
Yeah.
It's less. People don't seem as excited for the new Marvel releases as they were for Avengers and their previous titles. Me personally, very much looking forward to the new Black Panther. But I got to tell you, most of their other releases don't excite me enough to make me want to rush out and see them. Like
the Eternals is interesting.
Again, it's interesting, but I am not a hardcore diehard comic guy.
True.
I don't know all the offshoot universes, all the crossovers, all those different things that the true fanboys got into. So I don't have any idea what the Eternals are, or the Marvels, or the this, or the that. I don't know, and because of that, I'm not that interested right now. So maybe they're just looking for a way to increase that momentum and the buzz around them and give themselves a little more time.
This is something interesting. Cindy actually just commented and said they play Marvel soundtracks at Six Flag Magic Mountain. That's a slap in the face.
Hey.
I mean, really, DC doesn't have a soundtrack, so I really don't blame them too much for that. I mean, they still have the old Batman dun da 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 dun da 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 that one. So
again, we're not as familiar with the themes of the DC characters, and it hasn't been ingrained in us over the last 15, 20 years like the Marvel ones have. So give them time.
Yeah, little by little. We'll see how that goes. Going on to sports, we actually want to go ahead and talk a little bit about the Dodgers being down 2 games to the Braves. You're a Dodgers fan. I'm a Dodgers fan. Right now, we also just saw, or actually, I just saw on the feed right now, Cindy is saying that Red Sox are beating the Astros. So.
The Astros have definitely been struggling against Boston in the last couple of games. Boston's really had their number. Man, the Dodgers, these have been some close games. The Dodgers are not hitting right now. And personally, it doesn't look, not taking anything away from the Atlanta pitchers, but they don't look like overly dominant. It just looks like our guys are not, they're just missing by a bit here and there. And I'll tell you, I said it before the playoffs. I told you we were going to miss Max Muncy's bat. A guy who batted 300, 30 plus RBI, or 30 plus home runs, 90 plus RBIs. That's some offense we are really, really missing right now. Whew. And that pop in the middle of the lineup would have made a big difference.
Real quick, I hate to cut you off, but Cindy just posted the score, 9-3 Red Sox.
Yep, they're killing them. These last couple games, they have been torching the Astros, so they seem to have their number at the moment. Hopefully the Dodgers will pull it out, man. Last year we were down 3-1, and we came back and we beat them in 7. It's never over, and these games have been close enough that I'm not horrifically worried. We've lost on 2 walk-offs. it could swing the other way very easily coming back to LA. But right now, I don't know. Our offense looks very lethargic. We're not getting the big clutch hits. We're leaving a lot of guys on base. And man, I really wish we had Max in the middle of the lineup right now.
Yeah. I mean, again, the argument could be said that we were also down when we played against San Francisco, and we still came back and we beat them. So,
like I said,
there's still hope. There's still hope right now.
I am not in any way writing the Dodgers off. They still have more than enough talent to figure it out. But man, those bats got to come alive a little bit. We can't be leaving people on base every single time.
Agreed. Derek is commenting saying only because the Astros aren't beating their trash cans. That's probably why
they took the Astros trash cans away. It makes it harder to hit when you don't know what's coming.
Exactly. I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
come on, my friends in Houston, I love needling you.
I don't.
You and your cheaters.
I'm like, I can't stand the Houston assholes. I mean, Astros. God,
it just comes out that way.
It just comes out that way. What can I say? That's the news. In case you haven't heard it, thank you so much for joining our podcast again. Thank you to Sean Kanan for stopping by. Always a pleasure to have him. And Mr. Miller, thank you for being my everything, sir.
I am the wind beneath your wings, brother.
Yes, you are. You fly with me. You fly with me. Fly.
Thank you guys for joining us. It's been a ball as usual.
Yes, it has. And make sure you join us again this Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can hit that notification button every time we go live and every time we post something on YouTube as well.
Did you say this Thursday?
No, Friday.
You said Thursday.
I said Friday.
You said Thursday.
We'll go ahead and rewind it back, okay? How about that? I said Friday. I know I said Friday. Stop getting to my head. Anyways, make sure you follow us on social media. Our social media is in the description, along with Sean Kane's social media and where you can buy his book, Way of the Cobra. See? Joe just said right now. Joe, thank you. Somebody's watching. Joe just said he said Friday, bruh.
Okay.
See?
Awesome.
Told you.
I'm good. I'm fine with being wrong. I heard Thursday. I wanted to make sure people knew we weren't on Thursday. So.
No, of course we're not on Thursday. I know when we're on. Anyways.
You may know. It doesn't mean your mouth said it.
You know what?
I agree. It happened this time. He said it. I admit I'm wrong.
See, Carol is also saying Friday as well. Thank you.
I said I can admit when I'm wrong. It just rarely happens.
You're getting up there in age. We get it. You don't listen very well.
Look, me and Moses had a good time. Leave me alone.
Jesus was your homie. Anyways, thanks again, folks, for listening to our crazy behinds over here. And make sure to join us again very soon. Like I said, on Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll be live again. And Joe just said we got some hearing pains going on.
There we go. I like it.
That's a good one.
Thanks, Joe.
We'll definitely catch you again. Jeremy, again, always a pleasure. And we'll see the rest of you on again. Make sure you're safe out there. Still a pandemic going on. We're almost at the finish line, folks. Continue to wear your masks. Continue to, practice sanitation. Practice good hygiene. That's all you got to do. It's just common sense. What can I say? But we'll definitely see you here on next time on the Navarro-Miller Report.
Have a great week, guys.
You have been listening to the Navarro-Miller Report.